Alright, so this video is going to be an example of how to do an extrema problem. So a problem might look something like this. It says find the extremas of the following function. Okay, so the first thing we're going to want to do is find the derivative of this function, and then you're going to want to set it equal to 0 to find those critical numbers. So that's the first thing we're going to do. So f prime x is equal to, so using the power rule, you should end up with 6x plus 6. Okay, now we want to find the critical numbers for this, so I'm going to set it equal to 0, or see if there's any values for this that do not exist. Now, since it's linear, we know that all values of x will work for this, so I'm going to just set it to equal to 0. Okay, subtract 6 from both sides, and you end up with 6x equals negative 6. Divide both sides by 6, and you end up with a critical number of x equals negative 1. Okay, so what we need to do next is test whether this critical number actually works for the relative min or max, and then we need to figure out, is it the relative min or max, or absolute min or max. So what I'm going to do is to test this value is I'm going to draw a number line. Okay, so we have 0 right here, 1, and negative 1. Okay, according to the derivative being equal to 0, x right here at negative 1 should be a critical number. So that means if I test this side of the derivative and this side of the derivative, it should change, because at relative mins and maxes, the derivative will change. Okay, it'll go from positive to negative or negative to positive. So what we're going to do is we're going to test the value that's on this side first. So if I put 0 into the derivative here, you get 6, so that's going to be a positive, so I'm just going to put a plus on this side. And then we're going to test something over here, like negative 2. So if I put a negative 2 in here, I'll get negative 12 plus 6 is a negative 6. So I'm going to put a negative value in here. And if you notice, it goes from negative to positive after that negative 1. At negative 1, it's 0. So it goes from negative to 0 to positive. So if it's going from negative to 0 to positive, that means that the slope is going to be negative, 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 0, and then positive. So that would be forming a min. And another way you can do this too is just to graph it, or if you just think about your knowledge of parabolas, that this first term is positive, so it's going to form a parabola like this, which means there's a min on the bottom. So if you know it goes from positive to 0, or negative to 0 to positive, then you know that you have a min. Okay, now this is the only min that we have, so it is the absolute and relative min. And it's at x equals negative 1, and then you got to plug this negative 1 into the original function to figure out what the y coordinate is. So we have negative 1 squared is 1, so 3 times 1, so it's 3, plus negative 6, which is negative 3, minus 7 is negative 10. So we would have an absolute and relative min at negative 1, negative 10. So if you have any questions on how to do this example using critical numbers to figure out the absolute and relative min or max, let me know.